my name is Tasha Dutcher, and today I would like to do a presentation about different leadership assessment modules. This will include the agenda for the presentation and will just show what's going to be discussed. First, we would like to start by discussing the many different types of leadership modules. All of these are used to assess, create assessments for organizations to collect information, make sure they're doing what they need to do, and then if they're not, it will help them create a strategic plan to do better in their organization to help reach their goals. We will then determine two of those assessment modules that we want to compare and contrast, and ultimately determine one that we think is most desired in an organization. There is a competency-based module that focuses primarily on identifying and assessing core leadership competencies relevant to healthcare, meaning communication, strategic thinking, team building, clinical experience, but it is measured by self-assessment questions, feedback from peers, direct performance reviews from supervisors, and or observation of behavior of the leader. This module, it does provide a structured approach to help identify strengths and areas that may need further development, but it does have a weakness of not being able to capture the impact of the leadership outcome. So since it's such a broad spectrum, it's not going to show exactly how the leader is performing and how they are affecting the organization in itself. The transformation leadership module focuses mainly on the leadership behaviors, specifically what they discuss, how charismatic they are, if they are inspirational to their team, if they're intellectually inspiring to their team, if they stimulate learning and growth within their organization and team of individuals. But it is evaluated by self-report surveys, so that is one of its major weaknesses, because someone can be biased in their responses and make themselves seem like they are great for the organization and make any kind of plan that has came about seem like it was theirs. It doesn't leave any checks and balances to verify that someone else may not have contributed to that or give proper it might not give them the credit that is due, and it may be giving that credit to a leader that shouldn't be in that position. So it's not one that is very sought after. Another one I want to discuss is the balanced scorecard approach. It's a holistic evaluation of the leadership's performance, but it considers every element of action within the organization. So strategic goals for things, but that could include, but not limit, finances, internal processes, learning to be able to grow within the organization. It mainly looks at the organization as a whole, kind of like the competency-based module, but it also looks at larger aspects to make sure that the goal of the organization is being met. It is evaluated by quantitative metrics like financial performance and patient satisfaction, but it also allows for qualitative assessment of the leadership behaviors and outcomes. So it has the strengths that this type of leadership provides a view of the leader's impact on the organization, how they're encouraging strategic planning within the organization, and keeping those goals in mind and how they're working to perform those. It does have weaknesses, and it can be that it's complex to implement. So, since it has so many aspects that need to be looked at, it could definitely be difficult to determine what is being met and what is not. So, it is difficult to implement and take some time from the organization. Two aspects that I would like to compare for the modules are the transformational module and the balanced scorecard module. It's very similar in listing the properties as I've done in the previous slide, but I chose to compare these two mainly because transformational is not really sought after since it solely relies on the person specifically being liked and by what they say or what they portray that they do. We're not for sure that they do that. We not always like the same person, in an organization. Having multiple different aspects of a personality is kind of sought after. You need someone who is bendable and able to go with the flow, and if someone is solely based on getting likes, I don't think that is going to be a good model to use for an organization. And then the balanced scorecard module, I think, is superior because it has multiple aspects that are looked at and help determine the outcomes for the organization as well, not just for one leader. The goal that is in mind for a balanced scorecard is in the entire organization. You're looking at different metrics as if, like if the patient is satisfied, if the patient is safe. You're looking at things like, are the maintenance, people safe within their duties, and, sometimes hazardous weather or different materials that they have to clean up. It's looking at how leadership is across the entire environment, not just a tiny portion of who the person is and how they talk to other people. I will end this presentation discussing the module that I feel is best, which I've kind of already described. I do think that the balanced scorecard module is superior. The company that I currently work for does use this, and it has been very successful for multiple years. This module, I feel like it doesn't just limit what it focuses on like others do, and I feel like having a broad spectrum to be able to look at different aspects is important in an organization because, especially in healthcare, you're not going to know what's coming to you. So you need to be able to adjust and adapt. And when you're doing, these assessments, you need to be able to assess every aspect, not just one, because that's not going to create a good business module. A business with long-term goals is sought after because a business doesn't want to be in business or in operation for a short period of time. So they're going to look at those long-term goals and they're going to want to focus on those. So if they have an assessment module that's looking at every aspect, that's going to be important. And it's going to be what they need to do to keep their business afloat. So a business, long-term goals is successful. They want to be successful in every aspect. And with a great assessment module like the balanced scorecard module, I think that can be achieved. And then the next slide, that's kind of the end of my presentation. But this slide will talk about the references and resources that I have used to perform this. Thank you.